listening. 2, 3, 4. Me and my girl, we got this relationship. Yeah. I love her so bad, but she treats me like shit. I'm locked down like a penitentiary. She spreads her loving all over, and when she gets home, there's none left for me. No, hey everybody. It's 6:59 p.m. on the East Coast. It's New York. As long as it's New York, one day soon, who knows what it will be. But we're here on a Friday night, closing out a week that was really something else. And I'm happy to be doing it here with you tonight. We got a great guest that's calling in. We have a great guest that's in the room. What's going on, Matt?
Hello, Francis.
Hey, your microphone sounds splendid tonight.
Indeed.
Yes. Well, how was your day?
It was all right.
Good. You're out.
The war memorials.
I'm sorry that we weren't up there. I brought Aurora to the park later in the afternoon, but if I knew that you were going to be up there cleaning up the war memorials, we would have been there sooner. She was out with her mother.
Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, just the beginning of the summer, so we'll be able to catch you up there doing all the weed whacking. All right, so Matt is here. Mike Baldwin, comedian Mike Baldwin, will be joining us in about 15 minutes. The first half, we'll be kicking through some articles and talking and some good Friday night banter. In the second half, I have some, I don't know what I'm going to call this bit yet, that we do with Fleckus. He'll be coming back in mid-July. He's gone at the end of June, so we don't have him on for a June appearance, but it'll be July, and then he'll be coming back monthly. And I don't know if we should call it reels over feels or reel to reel or reels of the... I don't know what it is, but we find these reels, these short videos throughout the week, and we throw them into collective Instagram groups and all that stuff so that we can compile them for a night like tonight. And I got a few that made me wheeze laugh, and hopefully it goes over with everybody else. I try to keep all the worst stuff out of here. The worst stuff out of here. But tonight we got that. We've got also a special spotlight / badass at the end of the show. I guess last night's badass was General Patton. Because I don't know. I think we might have actually already done him. But I just realized when I got home, oh shit, I didn't do an official. I didn't play the badass thing, all that, whatever. But we did spend time on General Patton, and that is a pretty badass, prophetic kind of a thing that we did at the end there. But anyway. That's what we have tonight going on with us, and away we go. So, Matt, the first thing I want to do is I want to show you a little bit. We have a couple of clips here, and then some news about the Trump trial that just concluded in New York City that's getting around I want to talk about. Did you see this, Matt? This is a Canadian member of Parliament.
Oh, no.
Her name is Laurel Collins, and she claims that climate emergencies are not gender neutral while being wildly emotional. You see, she's already been possessed by the spirit. The spirit has her right now. All right, let's take a listen to what she has to say. I'm sure it's going to be absolutely riveting. Here we go.
I want to start off by addressing one of the comments that was made by the witnesses around climate hysterics. Hysteria, it refers to something that is wildly emotional. It comes from the Greek word womb, of the womb. It is used in ancient Greek to refer to things associated with women. And I think...
And let me show you why.
I hope you'll forgive me if I get emotional.
God.
Climate emergencies are not gender neutral.
You're right. They seem very girly.
Degradation of ecosystems disproportionately impacts women and girls.
I wish somebody can go into that. Can somebody go into that, please?
And I am wildly emotional. This is the existential crisis of our time.
This week. It's the existential crisis of our time this week. Because next week, something else is the existential crisis of our time that week.
And to hear that asking for high ambition is climate hysteria, that makes me wildly emotional. Absolutely.
Yeah, you should not be in Parliament.
Maybe she's on her period.
Maybe her womb is acting up.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Probably rancid.
When I think about my womb, the 2 children.
Oh, I wish you didn't bring it up. I don't even want to. Oh, when I think about my womb. Oh, just don't even talk about it. Jeez. Ugh.
People think she sounds smart right now.
She
thinks she sounds smart.
She thinks she's leaving an impact. This is her Abby. She thinks that this is her Abby Hoffman moment. This is Abby Hoffman, Washington D.C. Forrest Gump, with the red, white, and blue shirt on
That I bore from that womb, and what future we are leaving them. I am wildly emotional. And it's not surprising to hear this from someone who has written articles that are pro-life. I think that we need to think about the intersection of gender and the climate crisis.
No, I don't think we have to. I think you need to go take a chill pill, lady. And there you go. Good job, Canada. But then again, we're not much better. Okay. Well, the only thing that Congress seems to produce from day to day is sound clips of hysterical women from both of the parties, just making me cringe and want to crawl into a fucking hole. But you know what? That's just the way of the world right now. Okay, here's Steve Bannon outside of the courthouse talking about the way things are going to be, because of course he's being ordered to report to prison on July 1st because of his refusal to answer to a subpoena, held in contempt. Which, of course, that is just like the thing to do if you are, in the in crowd. Eric Holder, is he still in contempt? I don't even know at this point because of Fast and Furious. Mm-hmm. Things like that, it's fine. But here's what he had to say, minute and a half.
Okay, thanks. I've got great lawyers, and we're going to go all the way to the Supreme Court if we have to, but I want to say something specifically about the Justice Department. Merrick Garland, Lisa Monaco, the entire Justice Department, they're not going to shut up Trump. They're not going to shut up Navarro. They're not going to shut up Bannon, and they're certainly not going to shut up MAGA. If you look right here, you reporters, in the 2.5 or 3 years we've been here, look at the rise of MAGA, look at the rise of Donald Trump. If the election was held today, according to Harry Enton over at CNN, President Trump would win in a landslide. All of this, again, besides the major legal issues that have to be addressed, all of this is about one thing. This is about shutting down the MAGA movement, shutting down grassroots conservatives, shutting down President Trump. Not only are we winning, we are going to prevail, and every number and every poll shows that. There's nothing that can shut me up, and nothing that will shut me up. There's not a prison. There's not a prison built. There's not a prison built or a jail built that will ever shut me up. All victory to MAGA. We're going to win this. We're going to win at the Supreme Court. And more importantly, we're going to win on November 5th in an amazing landslide with the Senate, the House, and also Donald J. Trump back as President of the United States. Thank you very much.
He's pretty confident.
Yeah, we were confident in 2020.
Cool. That's what I'm saying. It's just the reality. And then there is, what's real, and then there is what the other side, what the powers are willing to do, and when they're going to just turn the lights off or bust another pipe. Who the hell knows? But anyway, this is the news that's kicking around right now. This is from Robbie Starbuck on Twitter concerning the trial in New York. Robbie says, big news. New York Supreme Court reportedly told Judge Merchan that a relative of a juror made a comment on Facebook the day before the verdict saying that they were told that the jury would convict Trump. Merchan notified all parties. If true, this is likely headed to a mistrial because a juror is not allowed to discuss the case with family or friends like this. That is a big deal. Now, this coming from the New York Supreme Court is not going to, I would have to assume they're not going to make any kind of comment on this unless they have verified what's going on here, that it's not a troll, that this person is related to somebody and word did get out about what's going on, and that's just it. And you can't have that. That is warrant for a mistrial or something. Or I don't know. Maybe there's some other kind of tool or something else. But I've already seen some people say, well, this seems like a way that they can say, oh, well, we got our conviction, but we don't have to suffer the consequences of putting him in jail because there was some technicality out there. I don't know. I really do think that this is just a matter of stupid people who just want to just say things that woman. Although I think the woman that was the forewoman of the jury from the Georgia thing that she was on, she was sent to all of those television shows to talk giddily about what they're about to do and what she wants personally to happen to Trump, what she feels like she is owed to do with all the time that they put into the Georgia case.
You talking about Fannie Willis?
No. That the little witch, the literal witch. Do you remember that little squirrely girl that went on MSNBC and got like really happy? And she's spazzing out.
Yeah, the little white girl.
Yeah, with the eagle nose.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, well, that squirrel. That's right there. It's like, what are you talking about? How do you send anybody out there? It's almost as if people send. That's somebody I would send out there to give some sort of reason for the whole damn thing to get thrown away. And for you to be able to keep your narrative while saying, oh, well, he only got away because of a technicality, Because these people know that it's costing them. But they need to eat up time, and they just want to be able to call him a convicted felon. That's all. But this actually seems like it could just be somebody's...
George Washington was a felon.
Yeah, I guess so. But that's just... This seems like it could just be somebody's stupid cousin going out there and ruining the whole thing.
That's definitely what it was.
I know. So there's that. We'll see what happens with that. Here, this is the. I think this is the. What they're talking about. A guy named Michael Anderson. Thank you for all your hard work against MAGA crazies. Your hard work against MAGA crazies. My cousin is a juror on Trump's criminal case, and they're going to convict him tomorrow, according to her. Thank you. New York courts. I don't know. It also could just be, a plant. It wouldn't be too. I don't know. Then you're throwing a juror.
I think they're that stupid.
I think
one
are.
of them is that stupid.
Yeah, Laura Loomer put it out there. So this is the screenshot of the Facebook comment that was posted on the Unified Court System Facebook page by Michael Anderson, who claimed his cousin was a juror in the Trump trial and said Trump is getting convicted. This could be grounds for mistrial in President Trump's trial. And there it is again. My cousin's a juror there. Now, you can say, well, like anybody can say something like that. But again, it got... This looks pretty official from the New York, Supreme Court. I don't think that they would do that over some unverified comment and shit like that. So we'll see what happens. We got a whole weekend to go. And that's that. All right, it's 7-11. We'll be right back. Mike Baldwin, is coming on with us for a little while. See how he's doing. He's a funny guy. We like chilling with him. Well, don't go anywhere. In fact, wherever you're watching this at 7 o'clock, hopefully it's at quitefrankly.tv, powered by Foxhole. But whether it be YouTube or DLive or Rumble, Twitch, send the live stream out there. Get people hooked on in. It's going to be a fun night. It's going to be a funny night. Hopefully we can take some calls in the second half. So if you want to relax on a Friday night, this is a good time to do it. We will be right back.
This is Max N. Caporato at 12,060 feet. You can get as high as I am by watching the Quite Frankly podcast.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's ride!
I don't have him alone.
Man, what the
did
hell
he
was that?
say?
What was that version?
Lover, where are you? With a love oh, so true.
Oh shit, man, that's nuts.
He's
I didn't-
saying, "Come, come, lover." That's because you hear lover, come.
Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody.
Slightly ghetto.
It's good to have you back. It's good to have you here and chilling out. It's Friday night. I gotta say, well, first things first. I just want to welcome Mike Baldwin back to the show. Mike, how you feeling, man?
Hey, good. Nothing. Everything's great.
Hey, you know what I appreciate? You still have a Christmas tree up. So do I.
Oh yeah, it's up year round. It's currently. I was gonna go to Dollar Tree and get some 4th of July stuff and make it a 4th of July tree, but instead I just went ahead and decorated it for Halloween. So now I don't have to dick with it for several months.
There you go. There's the guest couch, and off to the left you can see we have a small tree. I just actually added 150 new pastel lights to it, so it doesn't really come through there, but they're very warm and cozy, and I don't know. I'm all for them year round, so it's great to have you here. Slightly ghetto. I love that shirt.
Oh yeah, I always get compliments from all different kinds of people. It doesn't matter what color they are, but yes, compliments all around. People go, "Nice shirt, bro."
Well, welcome, Matt, and Mike. We three together. It was
What's up, fellas?
Fun time you were last on.
That tree looks like a nice romantic place to sit next to and listen to "Come Lover."
I know, "Come Lover, where are you?"
It's a smash hit.
Hey, did you guys hear about the? Before we get into what Mike's been doing, what did you think about the Alex Jones order to liquidate? Or no, I don't know if he was ordered or if he just said that he's going to do it all. Did you hear about the liquidation?
I heard about it. Yeah, it kind of. I'm 50-50 on Alex Jones. You know, he says a lot of things that I agree with, and he says a lot of things that I can't agree with. And so when he does something like this, where he's crying on camera and whatnot, it just reminds me of like when a mattress store is like, "We're going out of business. Everything's got to go. Like, come down here and shop." I feel like he's trying to just get people to tune in and watch, but maybe he's selling it. I have no idea.
Well, it says here, let me see. Jones believes that there is no reasonable prospect of a successful reorganization of his debts, most of which stem from a $1.5 billion awarded defamation lawsuits. That's just ridiculous anyway. Chapter 7 liquidation would not allow Jones to escape paying legal judgment, but it offers a streamlined procedure for selling his assets under the supervision of a court-appointed trustee. Courts in Texas and Connecticut have ordered Jones to pay blah, 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 $1.5 billion, Sandy Hook. Bankruptcy can be used to wipe out debts in legal judgment, but the judge overseeing Jones's case in October said that he cannot be legally discharged. So my question is, what does this mean as far as they're still talking about Sandy Hook? What does it mean? Does it mean that the whole studio is being sold off as far as it's not here? So as far as liquidation, you think about that, the first thing I think about is that all of the furniture, all of the equipment, it's being sold off, and all of its properties are being sold off to pay this. And then what? Can he go start a new studio under a new name and ditch InfoWars? Like what? I haven't seen any details here, but that's a pretty big development.
Maybe somebody else is going to buy it and just keep everything the way that it is and do their own show from there.
Can you imagine
Trump's going to buy
and then just put instead of the word wars, just put up a sign that says Frank, and then just have it say Info Frank, and then you can do your shows from there.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine George Soros buys it, and all of a sudden, and he doesn't change anything about it? It's just InfoWars operated by Media Matters. Oh my God, that'd be something else. Hey, Mike. Now, what's been going on with you? The last time you were here, the last time we heard from you was actually your Christmas greeting, which I really, really thank you for being a part of that show. But you, me, and Matt, I think it was back in the fall the last time we hung out, right?
I think so. Yeah. The only thing that sticks out about that time is that we had microphone issues for like the last 10 minutes, and there was like a weird squeal or something. And
You're right.
And I actually heard it from my end, but I didn't want to say, "Wait, do you guys hear that? What is that?"
It was
so
on
because nobody was reacting, so I was like, "It's probably just something on my end." And then I got online and looked at the comments, and everybody's like, "Sounds fucked, bro."
It was it was when I realized that all of my equipment was dying, and that eventually I just needed to upgrade the sound. I needed to. We were still doing things the way that we were doing it essentially in 2008, 2009, with all the ways that we stacked our condensers and our amps and our mixers and stuff. And everything has become so much more streamlined and shit but I didn't want to give up the aesthetic of having all the things jingling, twinkling behind me. But we found a nice way of doing it all. But around the fall is when I knew that things were really going to hell. And then in January, I had just really bad computer problems. So it all got redone. And yeah, that was a horrible way to end that show because it was really fun. But yeah. So listen, I seen you tweet a lot and actually talk a lot about your sobriety lately. Congratulations on that. I never, I mean, you talk about being, inebriated and stuff, but I didn't know that you were clean. How long have you been clean and sober?
Well, I guess it depends on your definition of clean. I'm still high right this very moment, but
Nice.
But not drinking.
Me too.
but not drinking. Yeah, I quit drinking on May 18th of 2015 because May 17th of 2015 is just so cringy and embarrassing that that next day I was like, I'm not drinking tonight. And then I actually had a really good night, and I was like, maybe I'm better at comedy when I'm sober.
Oh,
So then I got a little streak going, and next thing I know, it had been a month or two, and I was like, well, now I can't drink because I'll ruin this streak. And I'm just stubborn enough that I've just stuck with it this whole time.
that's really great. So when you say cringe, it was a really bad set.
No, it was just a really bad night. I mean, well, I'll tell some of the story, I guess. I got really drunk. On stage, I talk about how I was out at another bar with all of the staff of this comedy club that I was working at, and we're all drinking, and there was some other lady there, and her husband was sitting on the other side of her, and I kept trying to like hold her hand, and her husband was like, dude, and I was like, you mind your own fucking business, buddy. And he was like, this is clearly my business. So it got into a whole thing, and I didn't even remember any of that until I woke up the next morning, and then I was like, oh God, what did I do?
Wait a second.
So
He knocked you out?
No, the staff protected me. The other bouncers and bartenders and stuff were like, you get the hell away from him. And then the next day I was all worried that this whole staff was going to hate me and be mad at me. And I got to the club and they were like, you were hilarious last night, dude. That was so funny when you told that guy to go fuck himself. And I was just like, it's not funny. It's like mean and sad. And what was I even doing? And
Yes,
so,
I have a problem.
right. And they were like, nah, you don't, dude. You need to keep drinking.
But wait, but Mike, when you say you're on stage, I have to imagine it's just a little, maybe like a little platform. So you're up there, and the woman and her husband is what, like right in the front table or something like that?
No, I did a show, and then after the show, after the comedy club was closed, the staff, the bartenders, all the bouncers, the waitresses, we all went out to another bar and we're drinking together. So the lady and her husband have no idea that I do comedy, that I'm funny, any of this stuff. I'm just some guy just trying to touch this lady, and yeah. So that's why I don't drink anymore.
See?
Because of that night.
I thought that that makes it a lot more sad. You're right, because I thought you were saying it was like a part of your act. You just started, going to grab a member of the audience's hand, and that's kind of funny.
I could see that being better, but no, it was not like that.
All right,
I was just a sad drunk being like, please just touch me back.
Okay, so I'm glad you got rid of that. What did you love the most about it? when you were drinking?
About drinking? Well, I've been through phases of other drugs and stuff before too. And you asked me that question because we talked ahead of time, like, what are we going to talk about? And you jokingly were like, I'm going to ask you what you loved the most about it. And that made me laugh. But then I was thinking, like, the first month or two of any drug or drinking or anything like that is all just fun. It just makes everything more fun, and it just makes you love life a little more. After that point, it's just maintaining a level of normalcy, you know? After that, it's like, if I don't do this drug, then I'm going to be sad. So I need to do it so I'm not. And yeah, I did. I'm from Independence, Missouri, which in 1997 was the methamphetamine capital of the world, which we were all pretty proud of. But I was a sophomore in high school. I played football and stuff. And this older dude that lived up the street, his name was Donovan. He gave me and my friend Frazier some meth, and we did it. And then we went and played football, and it was awesome. Like, it made football. I was better at football. And so then I figured like, meth is like every other drug. It's kind of good for you if you can quit before like the 6-month mark, because up until then you're eating less, you're losing weight, you're super social, you're making friends and stuff, your whole house gets cleaned up. It's after that though, that's when you start, sucking dicks and stuff.
Yeah, that's when that all starts happening.
I didn't make it that far though.
I'm happy. I'm
I
happy.
probably would have, but my parents found out, and then they wouldn't let me do meth no more.
You better stop with that meth, son. Well,
it was pretty much like that. They busted me on the Monday of spring break, so they basically just detoxed me at home. I just wasn't allowed to leave, and it was just a terrible couple of days. And then after that, I was like, all right, well, never doing that again.
So then you sound like the type that are you going to the meetings and stuff like that, or was this just something that you did because like you said you did it, you felt like your comedy improved, you went on a streak, and then you just got stubborn. Is it something that has just become second nature to you, or do you go to meetings and everything to find group support?
No, I went to an AA meeting or two when I first stopped drinking, and I don't know. I mean, it's fine. I don't dislike any of the things that they do or the steps or any of that, but I was just like, nah, I'm fine. I'll just quit on my own. Like, because I've had friends that have gone through it and they pour their hearts out and all that stuff. And I was like, well, I don't need to do any of that. I'm just not going to drink.
There's so much substance abuse in the country that in a weird way, or maybe not so weird, it must be comforting for audiences to be able to go out and listen to a guy like you with so much experience on the subject, who has come out on the other end of it all right. And be able to joke a little bit, to put human nature up on a pedestal a little bit. Has it become a part of your set or your nightly improv with people or anything like that? Do you embrace it and kind of put it into your set at all?
Yeah, the thing that I discuss the most is talking about getting busted for drunk driving and doing all that stuff, and I wrote all those jokes. I mean, they're true stories, more or less, but I wrote them all when I was still drinking. So the challenge was really how to tell them in such a way that, like, instead of talking in first person, like, here's what I used to do sort of thing. But I really did get busted for drunk driving twice, and it sucked both times. Luckily, both times happened before I turned 21. So they're not on my record or anything, but I was still a punk ass, drunk, stupid kid. But I joke on stage, they always got me with the sobriety test because they're sneaky, Yeah. They'll ask you something that just trying the thing makes you fail the test. They'll be like, how many cartwheels can you do? And if you're sober, you're like, cartwheels? Why? But when you're drunk, you're like, start counting.
Yeah, it's like, I could do 12. I don't think I've ever done a real cartwheel in my life. Like a real cartwheel where you can just put your arms, you look like a bike, you like bike spokes. That's what your limbs look like. You're just doing it. I've never done that before.
I've done like what felt like a cartwheel, but I think if I watched a video of myself, it would just be like my hands on the ground and then my 2 feet like moving from here to over here without going over my head. But I'm like, did I do it? And they're like, oh, kinda. That was kinda one.
Kinda. Okay, get in the back of the car. Hey, so how did speaking of your routine, and everything, how did the comedy special do? You were talking about that going into the holiday season last year. How did the comedy special do? Are you proud of it? And yeah.
I was proud of it then. Whenever they say as a comedian, you'll always look back at what you were doing 6 months ago and just be embarrassed of it. And that's kind of how I feel about it. I'm like, I don't tell that joke like that anymore, and I don't even do that stuff anymore. And but it did all right. I got over 100,000 views. It's not the 10 million that I was hoping for, but I was surprised because I mean, even I guess I'm my own harshest critic, but there were several spots of the special where I'm like, God, you can totally tell that that's edited right there, the way it cuts like that. And the guy that was editing it was like, nobody's gonna ever notice, dude. You're the only one that's gonna notice that. And sure enough, like every comment that I got on YouTube is all just like, dude, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen, like beginning to end. And I just want to comment back and be like, really, even the part like where I said that thing that nobody laughed at?
You want to point out all the flaws. Yeah,
right.
I know what you mean. Hey, at least you got a timeline of 6 months toward regret. I usually regret every episode that I do when I go home. When I go home the next day, I'm like, oh, I hate that I said that.
But you don't go back and listen to your own shows, do
never.
you?
No, because I'd hate myself more.
See, I have to because I have to post stuff online, so I have to like find the funny clips or whatever, and then add text to them and do all that stuff. But it really does help because a lot of times I'll just wing something on stage that I've never said before, and it ends up being funny. And without going back and listening again, I'm like, that would have just slipped my mind forever, you know?
Mm-hmm. Is comedy paying the bills right now?
Well, it's funny. Like I started doing open mics in the year 2000 or so, and I haven't had to get a real job since like 2007. So comedy has been paying the bills this entire time. It's just been the last couple of years that comedy's been paying less of the bills and credit cards have been paying more of the bills.
Oh no.
And now just in the last like month or so, I was like, you know what? I'm going to sign up for one of those apps where I go to the grocery store for people. And I've been doing that shit a couple hours every day, making an extra, $50 here and there, just something. Cause yeah, as of right now, I've got my next show is June 28th. And it's like 10 hours away and it's at a bar. So the money's going to be low and I'm going to spend it all driving there and back. But I booked it months ago, so I can't just not do it. My July is full right now, but my June is terrible. It's just comedy is rough, man. Like when I started doing comedy, the comedy club would book a headliner, a main guy, a feature act, the middle guy, and then an MC, the host of the show. And the club would do all of that. So you would get to the club each week and you'd meet whoever you were working with. You didn't know ahead of time who it was going to be. And now most headliners have their own openers that they bring on the road with them because they're friends or whatever, and they know that they're not going to be funnier than they are.
Yeah.
So they're not going to like outshine them or anything.
Yeah.
So I mean, in 2012, I would get one email a year from this dude named Dave Stroop, who was the guy who booked every Funny Bone and improv comedy club in the country. I would get one email with like 30 dates on it. And he'd be like, you want to do these? And I'd be like, yes. And so my whole year would be covered. And now it's like, I'll get a call on a Thursday that's like, what are you doing tomorrow? Last minute cancellation. You in? And I wish that I could be like, you know what? No, I'm not. You need to book me ahead of time. But I'm broke. So I'm like, yes, I'm in. Thank you.
Got to be grateful for it. I mean, that's just one of the, I can see that being the case, man. I really can. And, especially since you're not in a big city, you're in the Midwest, right? Aren't you?
Yeah, I'm in Wichita, Kansas, baby.
Well, I gotta imagine it's slim pickings already compared to being in the Northeast or the Southwest, or any of those bigger cities in Texas and stuff. So I can imagine you just gotta take what's there, and things are weird now too. There really is. But but you are an Uber Eats driver.
Not Uber. It's called the app is called Shipt, SHIPT, and it's kind of interesting. Every town that I've been to in my life has like multiple brands of grocery store. Wichita, Kansas does not. They have Dillon's grocery store in the city of Wichita. There's like 30 of these things, and there's like one every couple of every mile or two. And so yeah, this app delivers from Dillon's, and then they deliver from Target. So I just get a little thing on my phone. Did you look up Dillon's?
I'm looking for Dillon's right now. Hold on a second. I'm going to map of the most common U.S. grocery stores by state. Let me see here. What is that? Walmart. Oh wait, no. You said Kansas, right?
Yeah.
There's Dillon's. It's Dillon's. I mean, and that's the only. Hold on, let me put it up on the screen. There you go, Kansas.
Oh yeah, Dillon's is all of Kansas. That's funny.
Look at Walmart. Walmart's got everything else in the center there. Now I know about the Carolinas and Virginia with Food Lion. We go and shop at Food Lion whenever we go down to Myrtle Beach. Publix, they have those in the Carolinas as well, but not as much as Food Lion. Publix is dominating Florida and Georgia. Piggly Wiggly. And
see, we used to have a Piggly Wiggly, and there's plenty of Hy-Vees I'm from the Missouri side. There's Hy-Vee in Missouri. Those are all like locally owned and independently operated and all that good stuff that people like to hear. Dillon's, I think, got bought out by Kroger in the last several years.
Kroger, you see Kroger kind of owns all of the Michigan and Iowa and Kentucky and Tennessee and West Virginia. This is also 2017. Something might have shifted somewhere, but you know what's crazy? Now, I've been to a Piggly Wiggly as well, but they own Alabama. Mississippi, of course, is within the Walmart sphere of influence.
Yeah,
but New York,
well, because Walmart's in Arkansas, right?
Walmart is Arkansas as well. Yeah.
But I mean, they started in Arkansas, like their home base is.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know because I do shows in Fayetteville, and those are all Walmart people, corporate Walmart people there.
The crazy thing is in New York, the Tops. Now, when we all for our little October retreat up into the mountains, the only grocery store we know of, we have to travel about 15, 20 minutes to get there, but it's a Tops. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, we know
Tops and Price Chopper up there.
Yeah, but still, Tops is the most common grocery retailer in the state of New York.
Yeah, think upstate, it's also out like west. Like, I don't know why people call Western New York upstate. It's not upstate. Like, there's a bunch in Western New York, too.
Well, it's above New York City. I don't know. It's up in west. That's crazy. Because over here where we have it, down in the southeast part of New York, we don't see Tops anywhere. But let's see what else here. The top of Maine and everything else. What the hell is that up top?
Hannaford's.
Hannaford?
Yeah.
Never even heard of it.
Upstate too. Really?
Jewel Osco in.
Jewel Osco.
Yeah. Wait. Hold on. What's
Oh yeah, we used to have an Osco drug in Independence, Missouri.
Hy-Vee. Oh, I'm sorry, Hy-Vee. That's Iowa.
Correct.
Yeah, I Kroger before that was Ohio. My bad.
I was gonna chime in and correct you, but I was like, he'll read it in the comments.
I know. No, I didn't see it in the comments. I just sometimes I get screwed up. Cub. Everybody in Minnesota. Does anybody in Minnesota shop at a Cub? And then there is the Safeway that we all know that has the entire West Coast. Smith's, Dillon's, King Shoppers. Wow. It's interesting to see all this stuff. It really is.
Yep. I'm glad that I could open the eyes of the audience with grocery stuff.
You've done a lot for this show already. Hey,
I got to
find one for 2020 too. something like that to see what's happened since. All right, I got some news I think that we can all do together. You ready for this one, Mike?
Yes.
All right, you ready for this one, Matt?
Indeed.
All right, the first one up is from The Guardian. The Guardian has a headline about German nudists. They are very upset. There is a problem in Germany. They fear for the future of their lifestyle because there's falling interest in people who want to have their asses out with them everywhere. What do you think about nudism, Mike?
I'm not entirely comfortable with it. I think of it the same way that I guess I think of anything else. If it's somebody gross doing it, I'm like, you shouldn't be allowed to do that in public. And if it's somebody hot, I'm like, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think most people are like that. Most people.
It's the same with anything, neck tattoos, sundresses, any of that. They're like, what do you think of a chick with a neck tattoo? And I'm like, if she's hot, then whatever. That's fine.
Yeah.
If I see a hot girl in a sundress, I'm like, man, chicks in sundresses are hot. And then I see a fat, gross girl in a sundress, and I'm just like, God dang it. Why do you ruin everybody's day?
Let's see. An organization promoting nudity and self-confident approach toward the body. I think you could be self-confident with your body without having to show everybody your asshole.
Yeah,
that's the one thing I don't get about this stuff, especially the nude restaurants. I don't get the nude restaurants.
Oh.
Yeah, I know people sitting around.
Drop something.
I know. It has sounded the alarm over the future of naturism in the country. The German Association for Free Body Culture, an umbrella organization for a myriad naturist interest groups, has told its members that celebrations in August marking the anniversary of its creation will no longer go ahead owing to lack of interest. And also an influx of very, very conservative migrants. That's probably something you probably want to button up a little bit more out there. Membership of the DFK has slumped from 65,000 people 25 years ago to fewer than 34,000 now. I feel like this is like the statistics of like the Siberian tiger. There's less.
They're going extinct.
The German nudists are going extinct. Oh, it's one of the most liberal countries in the world for public nudity, but it's going downhill. So I don't know what
it sucks, huh?
It does.
I'm kind of fine with it. I think it's a relic of the past.
There should be rules. Yeah,
But there is something to be said about being completely naked with shoes and socks on.
Yeah.
I feel it doesn't happen often, but occasionally I end up in that position. A lot of times, like I wear a robe when I'm just around the house. And so sometimes I'll have the robe and socks and shoes on. And then if that robe comes off, there's just something. I just feel like I should go run outside or something. So I guess I'm not 100% against these people, but still, just don't be gross.
Yeah, but that's a little bit more. That seems like a little bit more of like a prank. Like what you described right there is almost like a prank that you're pulling on. I don't know.
It's a weird sort of freeing feeling though, because if you're naked with no shoes and socks on, you feel very vulnerable. But naked with shoes and socks on, you're like, dude, I can fight a guy. I could run if I have to.
I can do anything.
Yeah, literally anything. Nothing's going to impede my movements.
Actually, it would. Maybe. It would. I mean, you still would have some drag if you're running. I would want everything to be held together if you're running.
Yeah.
You have to hold yourself together. There's got to be something, a jock strap or something.
Is that why they invented the loincloth? I always thought that the other people in the tribe were like, dude, come on, hide that thing. But the loincloth was invented just to keep the dick and balls from bouncing around when they were running after animals and stuff.
It's true. Think about it. You're running through bushes. You get caught on a pricker bush. You tear your nutsack open. Yeah, you're going to need protection there. So they created
I thought the loincloth was just almost like a flap that was just hanging in front of you, almost like the miniest of all kilts.
Nah, I had to protect your balls from
Okay,
pricker bushes.
so then
when you're hunting.
it's wrapped and tucked underneath, and it becomes almost like a giant diaper.
Well, yeah, they probably had the taint covered too.
I get you there. Okay. Hey, so listen, speaking of people, loincloths, indigenous people, and then, of course, modern stuff. Just yesterday or the day before, I was talking about the concept of happiness machines. And one happiness machine, which pretty much we were talking about, was the internet, where you got something with unintended consequences, something that is going to innovate, and all it does is destroys people. Social media destroys people. And, we have not had a very good run at managing it and keeping our, all the old ways of doing things and being actually social. Well, this goes and makes headlines just yesterday. Listen to this headline. A remote Amazon tribe finally connects to the internet, only to wind up hooked on porn and social media. It's like immediately.
Does it say what they're searching for in porn, like specifically?
We'll see. The reclusive tribe in the Amazon finally got hooked up to the internet thanks to Elon Musk. Oh, great. Only to be torn apart by social media and pornography addiction, elders complain. Brazil's 2,000-member Marubo tribe has been left bitterly divided by the arrival of Tesla's founder's Starlink device or service 9 months ago, which connected the remote rainforest community along with the Itui River to the web for the first time. When it arrived, everyone was happy. Tisnama Marubo, 73 years old, told the New York Times. But now things have gotten worse. Young people have gotten lazy because of the internet. They're learning the ways of the white people. The Marubo are a chaste tribe who even frown upon kissing in public. But Alfredo Marubo, all Marubo use the same last name, said he is anxious that the arrival of the service, which delivers super-fast internet to far-flung corners of the planet and has been billed as a game-changer by Musk, could upend standards of decorum. Alfredo said many young Marubo men have been sharing porn videos in group chats, and he has already observed more aggressive sexual behavior in some of them. This is a crazy case study right now. We're worried young people are going to want to try it. He said of the kinky sex acts that they've been studying being exposed on screen. Everyone is so connected that sometimes they don't even talk to their own family. Oh, that's just the average Thanksgiving now over here. Starlink works by connecting. Well, we know about Starlink and all that, but what do you guys think about that? I mean, as far as just a timeline to see how quickly the impact is made. Yeah, I mean, the internet had to kind of grow around us in the early to mid 90s, especially when it came to porn. But these people were introduced to now what has been 30 to 40 years of making
high-speed, immediate porn.
Exactly.
I used to download one picture of a naked chick, like one line at a time, and I would just watch it like, I'm going to say nipple in the next 15 minutes.
Exactly. That's what it was like.
Yeah, well, we're going to end up, have you guys seen the Dune movies?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the second one yet.
The second one's badass, I got to say.
It's
but
good.
we're going to end up like that, where we just outlaw all thinking machines. That's what we're going to have to do eventually, because none of this phone shit is it really like improving anybody's life. The only people that are getting rich off of it are the people that are exploiting it, and like using it to their advantage. But that's not making them happy either. None of this is making anybody happier.
No, it doesn't. Hey, look, one teen told the Times that she now dreams of traveling the world, while another says that she aspires to become a dentist in Sao Paulo. However, Enrique also complained of the significant downsides. It changed the routine so much that it was detrimental, he said. In the village, if you don't hunt, fish, and plant, you don't eat. Some young people maintain our traditions, Tom says, 42 years old. Others just want to spend their whole afternoon on their phones. Tribes people became so addicted that Marubo leaders, fearing that history and culture, which is passed down orally, could be lost forever. They have now limited access to the internet for 2 hours each morning, 5 hours each evening, and all day on Sunday. But parents still worry the damage may already be done.
Yeah, they're addicted to porn.
But it's not, listen, the porn is one thing. and it's bad enough.
They're addicted to the endorphin rush that just the internet in general gives to you, I think.
It's just everything's at your fingertips. Parts of the world that you never really thought about. Well, the way other people live, the fact that you can talk to people on the other side of the planet. You're no longer isolated. You can talk to anybody. I mean, you can. It goes on and on. I mean, music. I mean, there's things that are a little bit more benign that you can just continue. You can really just you can lose hours and hours and hours. Days are gone. And whereas maybe some of it may be good, if you don't know how to regulate information, learning is good, listening to music is good, just that's all fine. But if you don't know how to regulate, and these people are drinking from the fire hose right now, damn, I understand. We've lost our culture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Shit. Okay. Well, here's another one for you. Celine Dion. You heard about Celine Dion? What's going on with her, Mike?
No.
She's got this condition called stiff person syndrome.
Oh, I've heard that. That's a year or two old, though, isn't it?
Oh, it's not a year or two old for her.
Is there an update?
Oh, yeah. Well,
is she stiff yet?
She's going back to. She's working. I think she has a. She's going back to. I think she has a Vegas. It might be a Vegas. Is it a residency? I don't know what the hell she's doing, but she's trying to get back to work. Here's the headline. Celine Dion says singing with stiff person syndrome feels like somebody is strangling you. And I don't know. This is how I feel about wearing a turtleneck. But she is talking about really like losing function going on here. And I don't know. The one thing I wanted to ask you about this, because it's kind of self-explanatory what's going on. They said that there's no way for them to reverse it. There's just some therapies, but it's just I think she's going to continue to just lock up over time. As horrifying as the prospect is, could they have called it anything other than stiff person syndrome?
Well, she's the first person with it or something?
I don't think so. I think it makes it worse.
I've never heard of that before.
Well,
does it have an actual medical name, and we just call it stiff person syndrome for easier, whatever?
So how is she becoming stiff? What is calcium building up in her body or something?
That's another thing altogether. I remember seeing about something like that in like the 90s on Current Affair or something like that, where there's like, it's very, very rare. There was this kid whose joints were like, he kept like all of the soft tissue in this kid's body. I remember it because it just left an imprint on me. All the soft tissue in his body was slowly turning to bone. And it was just, it was horrifying, even as one of those things that makes you just go to bed and thank God that everything is, that whatever problems you have, it's not that. It's like someone is pushing your, she said, it's like someone is strangling you. When she tries to sing, Dion told Today that it's like someone's pushing your larynx. It's like you're talking like that and you cannot go high or low. It gets you into spasm. But I don't know about just the muscles. I don't think the muscles, the actual things are, the material is changing. It's called stiff person syndrome, has affected the abdomen, ribs, spine, has taken deep toll on the singing sensation. Incurable condition results in progressive severe muscle stiffness. So I had broken ribs at one point because sometimes it's very severe. Oh, the muscles stiffen up so much it'll break the bones of her ribs.
Damn. Man, stuff like this just makes me lucky that I am as uninjured as I am just in my own personal life. I've never broken a bone. I've never had to have surgery. I've never had a terrible disease or anything. I had to go to the emergency room one time because I had kidney stones, of all things. It was the only time in my life that I was like, dude, I think I need to go to the fucking hospital. Like, something is wrong.
Really?
But so when I read stories like that, I'm just like, I mean, I cut my pinky finger once, and I just remember feeling so sorry for myself because I was like, I can't put stuff in my left pocket because it hurts to get in and take it out. Like, I'd rather have any other part of my body hurt right now than this pinky finger.
What did they do with the kidney stones? Did they go in there and blast them, or did they remove them by surgery? Did they dissipate them with drugs? What?
They gave me one pill and said, this is a kidney stone pain pill. And if you have kidney stones, in about 5 minutes, the pain will go away because that's all that this pill does. And all that did, and first of all, it worked. 5 minutes later, I was like, whatever it was, it did it. But I just immediately imagined how many like chimpanzees they had to give kidney stones to and then try these random drugs to be like, that one looks like it's not writhing in pain right now. Like, how do they discover shit like this? And then I see like Fauci doing the beagle bug eating face thing. And it's like, oh, yeah, well, that explains it. I mean, that's how we have all of these wonderful medicines that we have, is because of terrible shit like that.
I was out of that whole thing. I didn't watch the hearing, but I saw a lot of the highlights, and that was one of those things where I was happy about it. I mean, they were. It's not only that, but they were. Man, we found out that Fauci's organization, or his end of things, actually approved a lot of really even more bizarre and horrible Frankenstein-like procedures in a laboratory somewhere in Pennsylvania. I think it was something like it combined tissues from rats and tissues from aborted fetuses, aborted babies, and I mean, it's just constant. I don't. God knows what how horrifying it really is. But I'm happy that you're.
That's the stuff that they tell us about. Like, it's the same with technology, I think, where they say like, oh, whatever they give us, the military is like 20 years ahead. So I'm sure that there are experiments that have happened that we aren't privy to.
Yeah.
I like just the CRISPR stuff, for example. I read a thing about how they took some glow in the dark fish or something like that, and they like took its genes and put it into rats and monkeys and stuff like that, and they made glow in the dark rats and glow in the dark monkeys and things like that. Like, I've also heard stories, I don't know any details about all this stuff, but about like during World War II and stuff, like the Chinese and the Japanese like doing experiments on people, the Germans, I guess, even in World War II doing experiments on people. And I'm sure some of that probably led to some brilliant science, but it's like, at what cost,
Yeah, you're talking about especially the Japanese Unit 731. There was that's like nightmare fuel. A lot of stuff going on during those years, but the Japanese, they did some.
Is that the Nanking thing or whatever it's called?
Well, that was just a giant act of rape. That's the rape of Nanking. But as far as going into dedicated medical experiments, especially the ones with twins, that was the Japanese Unit 731. So that's some nutty shit. But hell, man, there's a lot to be said about that. Because it
seems like a good Y-Files episode. Do you ever watch that show?
I do, and I enjoy. I've tried reaching out to what's his name, the Y-Files,
Hecklefish.
I would love for him and the fish to come on.
I think it would be cool to just have the fish and be like, yeah, fuck that guy.
I've tried a couple of times, but those are people who are just they've got such a large operation. It's hard to get noticed unless you have somebody who knows someone and you work that angle. But it's I don't know, man. All of these, and I'm sure Matt can chime in on this here too. But when you know a lot of this history, and when you dig into it and you see what's really been going on back then, everybody tries to separate us in 2024, like the current year. Everybody always tries to separate us from the 19th century or what was going on in certain parts of the world during World War II, and the things that were committed to, the atrocities, this and that, and then they gasp when you say, you guys are acting this way during COVID, right? You know that you are, like they say, they're comparing us to Nazis. They're comparing one thing or another to the Holocaust. Like, I mean, this is,
it's like step one.
Dude, it's not even step one. It's, if you really get on into it, I mean, that is just, I think that we have a lot less of a buffer between the worst of whatever kind of past is always referenced to kind of twist people's arms in the present than people think. And you just got to be able to, who's educating you. That's the real thing.
Louis C.K. had a good joke about how, like, what you were just saying, basically, how people nowadays are like, I can't believe they were like that back then. And he did a joke about slavery, and he was like, I wouldn't take one. If they offered me one, I wouldn't take it. I would have said no. And then he's like, and then you're carrying in your groceries, and you're like, Jesus Christ, I wish I had somebody that would do this for me.
I wish I had a slave, damn it.
But most people are like that. It just depends how you word it. If you ask a super far left person, like, hey, do you think if as punishment we took one of these January 6th guys and we made him like mow your lawn every week and clean your house and stuff like that, would that be a fit punishment? Would you accept that? And they'd be like, hell yeah, I would. And it's like, that's slavery, dude. Like, you're just agreeing to having a slave.
It's been reworked. And I think that we're living under a far worse slavery now, especially since people don't have their minds. They have less and less of their families. They don't have the fruits of their labor with taxation. There's no representation there. We're living under the constant threat of war. Now, political suppression and all that stuff. The judicial system is screwed. It is not. It's not, chattel slavery like we learned about in the 19th, 17th century over here in the United States, even though that is as popular as it ever was before in the world. Over 40 million slaves like that in the world, just not here, of course. But it's nuts. It's nuts to see that. And again, that's, I think, one of the biggest intellectual follies of our times is everybody thinking, oh, my gosh, we've come so much farther. Why? Because fashion has taken us to a certain place, because we have phones, we're wearing baseball caps. What is it? What is separating us from there? I don't know. If anything, I think we're weaker now than our ancestors were. If all the power goes out, I don't have that many skills, Yeah.
Have you? I don't remember if we talked about this last time. Have you read the book 1 Second After yet?
No. I've read a lot about it, and I've heard a lot of people reference it, but I have not.
It's about all of the power going out just all over America and like the fallout of it, and it's a good one, man. I like watching and thinking about shit like that. I think that's why I like the Y-Files too, because they get into that like deep conspiracy stuff. And the thing they did on the pole shift is I've heard you mention that a few times, and it's like I'm in Kansas, so there's not a lot of things for me to hit, luckily. So maybe I would get lucky and just fly through the air at 1,000 miles an hour for a few miles and then land in a nice soft field or something.
You might be okay in Kansas. You might be okay, because because I was looking at one of the projected pole shift maps, and where we are in New York right now, and what Ben Davison told me and this audience is that the shift would happen in one day. So you're talking about, depending on how the Earth is rotating at 1,000 or so miles an hour or whatever, and of course, I wish I were a flat earther when I listen to that stuff, because it's like they're the most comfortable people who are the most comfortable with this prospect out there, because there's no way for a flat Earth to shift its axis. But still, New York, where we are right now, will essentially be like the new Argentina, and it's because it's about 90 degrees. We would be in South America again. We'd pass through, and it's the real thing of like what Ben was saying is that wherever you are, it's going to change direction and shift so quickly that you're pretty much scooping land masses are scooping up underneath the oceans. And it's bringing the oceans onto shore because you're scooping into them and whatever. And then, of course, there's that slosh back motion when it comes back to re-regulate. So it's really just a matter of where the hell are the 500 foot high, 700 mile an hour tidal waves not going to be? for a day or however long, I don't know. And then, like you said there, you're probably not going to have a lot of technological advantages. Maybe if you have some solar power, but you got to refigure your agriculture. You got to, I don't know. Fuck. Ever since I read about this, I'm like, damn it. What is it? It's like 2024. We have like 15 years left or something like that. Come on.
I think I feel the same way about sinkholes. I think about sinkholes more than I probably should, but just the idea that below my feet there could be 10 feet of solid rock, and then below that just 5 miles of open space. And all it's waiting for is just that one pebble to fall perfectly before my whole floor falls out below me, and I just fall to a terrible death.
Yeah, there's
or land down with all of the whatever's in the middle of the earth, the lizard people and stuff.
There is a grain of sand right now that is holding it all together.
I know, right?
Just don't make any sudden movements, Mike. Hey, listen, tell everybody where they can find you, what you got. I know that your next show is later on in this month, but let everybody know the best way to keep up with you, and we got to do this again soon. I like hanging with you guys on a Friday night.
Agreed. Well, my name's Mike Baldwin. You can go to mikeisfunny.com. You can watch my special there for free. It's like embedded up at the top. You can see my schedule. There's a little button that says tip jar if you want to give me money. No pressure. But yeah, I joke on stage that I would sign a guy's balls for $1,000. And then after that joke, I mentioned, yeah, I'm about 49 nut sacks in the hole right now. So I'll take all the help I can get.
If you have a nut sack that you want signed or whatever the hell else, please get in touch with Mike. He doesn't want to be going on these shopping expeditions anymore. It's great to have you back on, man. Thanks for the laughs and thanks for the good conversation.
Hey, thanks for having me. I love the show. I watch it as every chance that I have. I don't watch live as much as I should. It always pisses me off because I'll listen in the morning or something, and you'll be like, call me right now if you got a thing about this subject. And I'm like, damn it. If I was listening live, I totally would have had something to say about that.
And let me tell you something. There are some nights where I wish you were out there, Mike, because I got a lot of people that listen live. And still, some nights it's just like pulling teeth. I want more. I want it. So people like you got some. You always got something to say. So maybe one day you have an off night, you call in.
I will. All right. Take it easy, Frank. Later, Matt. Good to see y'all.
Take it easy. Be well. There goes Mike Baldwin. Go and check him out. I tagged him in all the show marketing on Twitter tonight, so you can go and check him out. And keep up with them there. Now, listen, me and Matt and I, we're going to be back right after a very brief intermission. Here's what we have for you. We have Super Chats. We're going to jump into the Reels. We have some funny Reels that we're going to watch together. I think that we're all going to get a kick out of those. I want to open up the lines, see what's going on with you guys and gals. And then, to end, we're going to throw a little bit extra spotlight on our badass pick of the night. It's going to be a good one. At least I think it is. So we can talk about this in a little bit. Don't go anywhere. In fact, share the show because I think you're going to have a good laugh or two on the other side of it. Maybe not. You might think it all is just juvenile and not your cup of tea, but it's Friday and things are too serious. We will be right back.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out to press the like button. Thank you.
Let's watch something else, butthead. No way. Those chicks at school said they love this show. And now we must figure out why, so that we can score with them.
Welcome to Intermission. Intermission.
You're now entering, quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Watch Quite Frankly and stuff.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
All my fellow Franciscans.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly. Quite frankly.
Quite frankly. Quite frankly. We'll be in the gulag with you, Frank.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Yo, what's good, Frank? Quite frankly.
Quite frankly podcast.
I want to get a Coke. Can I get a Coke?
So everybody watch. Quite frankly. With Frank.
Quite frankly.
How dare you?
Hey, hey, hey. All right. Oi, oi, oi. 914-200-0269. You give me a call. That's the open line. Anything you want to talk about from the week, anything you want to reminisce on, anything. If you have a holy shit story, you want to call in with a holy shit story that we weren't able to get around to, that's fine. That's all. It's all on the table. Jay Britt says, hey, Frank, hey, Matt, have a really gay weekend.
Indeed.
What do they think?
The old definition of gay.
Yes, a happy weekend. Kate Reynolds. This is from before the show even started. Thank you so much, Kate Reynolds, for a wonderful blessing. Great to have you there. We have a solitary Rumble rant. Rumble. You got your 2-hour show, Rumble. Send a rant. Get a thought on the show. Esther says, great company tonight. Thank you all. Thank you so much, Esther. It's great to have met you this year. It's great to have you out there. Ginger45 on quitefrankly.tv, powered by Foxhole and Pilled. Sent a cookie. Just Jessie sent her one of her own. Thank you so much, Sean Joe. And Joe Elaine. Smart Poker says, sorry I'm late. Frank and Frankly's hello, hello. Secret Weapon says, thanks, Frank. Always thanking me. It's very nice. Well, you're welcome, and thank you, too. And then Stephen and Lori Lyon says, safe weekend all, and thank you, Frank. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to... I have some reels over here that we can do. Actually, the first thing I want to do is some Babylon Bee with you, because it's been a while since we've done a Babylon Bee. I'd also like to do... we have not finished George Washington's Rules for Civility, too. So at some point, that's going to have to happen. 1 second. Here we go. All right. Now, first one up on Babylon Bee. Oh, hold on. I got to get Zoom caller out. I got to put Matt on top over there. All right, here you go. The first headline on Babylon Bee today. Biden administration hires NASCAR pit crew to rapidly change Biden's diapers without anyone noticing. Poor guy.
I used to be a NASCAR driver.
Yeah. My butt's been wiped. Man explains 2-year gap in his resume was when he was making memes to help take down the communist deep state. A lot of people have been doing that. Jimmy Kimmel delighted to finally talk to someone that he can make laugh. That is Kamala Harris. Did you see her get heckled?
No.
By Palestinian protesters?
No, where?
Well, they had these Palestinian protesters got into Jimmy Kimmel Live, and they started screaming at Kamala Harris about being party to genocide and killing children and all that stuff. And it was actually the most interesting thing about it was hearing Jimmy Kimmel just not know how to really handle the whole thing, and obviously it was uncomfortable.
I gotta watch that later.
Yeah, it's great. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. It's just because it's just another testament of this audience that's supposed to be politically monolithic, that is going through a very, very hard growing pain right now, especially with the Palestine stuff. Very, very hard stuff. And then the guy from the Jimmy Kimmel's show I guess chief of security there was posing as a cop, but obviously wasn't a cop. He was saying you're under arrest, but he doesn't have any power to arrest anybody. They were asking for his badge. He wouldn't produce it. He said, you're under arrest. But it never materialized into anything. They took these people, these girls, down to the street level, and they kicked them out of the building. There was no legal action or anything like that. They went right back to joining all of their friends holding their gay flags and stuff, which is crazy that they're still, combining both of those causes, Palestine and gay. So, and I started thinking to myself, wow, I mean, if they were saying the Lord's Prayer outside of a Planned Parenthood, they would be going to jail for years right now.
They'd be extremists.
They would be going to jail. They have made that very, very apparent, especially with they sent this 75-year-old woman to jail for, I forgot how long, months to years or something like that. The judge was a real cold bitch. Like they're protesting the sentence, saying, please, she may, she's old, she may die in jail. She said some cold shit like the judge did. She should try her hardest to stay alive, as it is a tenet of her faith, or what, like throwing shade at Christianity, like straight on. These are for people just being outside of abortion clinics and saying prayers for people going in and just, not blocking the entrance or anything like that. And then I look at the Jimmy Kimmel thing and I'm just like, if that was an abortion clinic, these people are going to jail for years. And they went inside of a building. They disrupted a television recording. They screamed and kicked the whole way out. They tussled with security, and they just got ushered right out onto the sidewalk with the rest of their protester friends. So, yeah, there's a lot of things to observe in that, because, the left is having a really uncomfortable time managing their civil war that's going on right now. It's pretty interesting, the factions that have formed. I'll try to find that later on. Let me see here. Here's another one. Steve Bannon looking forward to a hot shower and shave and clean clothes in prison.
Sloppy Steve.
Here's another one. AIDS claim Biden nailed a 360 kickflip McTwist on the White House half-pipe, but oh darn, the reporters just missed it. No, he's super active. Okay. Now here's what we're going to be doing. We're going to go to some reels here. This is stuff that Matt and I have been sharing with some other friends too. Hold on. We've been sharing this stuff with some other friends as well. And now I'm just bringing some select cuts for you all. Here we go. Here is a news blooper. It's an old one, but it still checks out. It's an old blooper, sir, but it checks out. Let's go to it right now. Hold on. All right, ready? This is, here we go. Take that off and boom. Take a listen to this. It's the wrong video they're queuing up.
News 12 Sports with Pat Murphy.
Great news regarding Bills tight end Kevin Everett. He moved his arms and legs today. And doctors now believe that's the wrong video, by the way. That is not the right video.
Doctors believe that's the wrong video.
Okay, so there's so much here. I loved it. The fact that they have an update on an injured football player, Kevin Everett, and they're saying he was able to move his arms and legs today. Right as this black guy, I don't know who the hell he was, who's in court and has a freak out in court and starts kicking the bailiff or whatever the hell else. Here it is one more time.
News 12 Sports with Pat Murphy.
Great news regarding Bills tight end Kevin Everett. He moved his arms and legs today. And
the best thing is that if you don't know sports, you would think that was Kevin Everett.
Yeah.
Kicking people in court. Oh, it's fantastic. Okay, so that's the first reel. This one, Matt, you put in today, and it is an old. It's an old part of 90210. It's an old scene of 90210 and Tori Spelling suffers a little bit of domestic violence at the hands of her boyfriend in this scene, but it is slowed down and repeated over and over again because Tori Spelling's body double is so unrealistic. It looks like a guy, to be honest. Hold on a second. Let me see.
It is.
Let me get. Here you go. They got a guy as Tori Spelling's body double. Here we go. Ah, come on. I wish these things would be unmuted at the start.
You're hurting me.
You're gonna listen to me.
Matt, it looks like you. It looks like you in a wig. It's got the build. One more time. There, right there. Oh man, it's a man's body. It's ridiculous.
Did you see the fake titties fucking like down like with saddlebags?
It's just hilarious. Okay, now this one I loved because it is this is a kid who's going into one of those Zoomer pranksters and shit. He's going into like a Home Depot or something. I don't know what kind of prank he's putting out there, but he's trying to get reaction from people. But he met a guy many years his elder who is just really vibing with him, and he feels like he asks him. I think you're really I think you're really gonna like the first question that the guy who works there asks this young kid. He asks, "How long have you been this way?" Okay, and I think you're going to appreciate this. Watch this exchange.
You guys good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
I like your mask.
I just got it today.
Oh, really? Is that AC/DC? Oh, it's not.
It's supposed to be a play on AC/DC.
Dude, no way. I did merch like that.
What does that say?
Hello, FE.
Low?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
It means lots of fucking Ebola.
How long have you been like this?
What?
How long have you been like this?
Just a couple days.
Oh, I thought maybe like 20 or 30 years.
No, I have a mental disorder.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
It's called life on planet Earth.
Yeah.
You didn't know that?
Yeah.
It makes all of us crazy.
We gotta go to a different planet.
I'm going in the little boy's room, take care of some bids.
Yeah.
See you later on. I'm Randall. What's
man?
your name?
Dick.
Dick, that'll work.
Dick Smalls.
And what's this guy's name?
Dick Big.
I love that interaction.
I saw this, but the caption said the black, like his voice sounds like he's a black dude.
Oh, I don't know about that.
That dude sounds like he's a black guy.
Here's one of the comments. The blackest sounding white guy I ever heard. What about Rick Astley? Anyway, okay, so that I love that interaction right there. Now, this one is hilarious. This is a woman, the woman who lives in the Breaking Bad house, the house that was in
Walter
Breaking
White's?
Bad. Yeah. Okay, so she owns the house, and apparently, and obviously, she's very fed up with people showing up to the house and wanting to take pictures in front of it. So she's at her wit's end. She's really stupid for buying it then. But there's a guy that shows up. He says his name is Ed Bassmaster, and he's a...
Oh, yeah. Would you look at that?
Yeah. He says, the Breaking Bad house, it was a must for me to see as a fan of the show. This lady is lucky I refuse to fight women. Okay, so watch this. Hold on. Wait a second. And away we go.
You don't get near my house. Get away.
I just wanted to get a picture. I'm a big fan of the show.
Good whoopee shit.
Oh, whoopee my ass. Man, you ought to learn to chill a little bit,
I
hon.
don't have to, you motherfucker.
Hey, relax.
Get out of here.
Hey, son of a bitch. Yeah, she's threatening to call the cops on me.
I've already got him on the phone, motherfucker. Get out.
Can you just please let me get a couple pictures?
Get away from my house.
You're pissing me off.
Whoopee shit.
I am done with you.
Oh, what a fucking retard. Little bitch boy.
I love his act, by the way. He's just kind of like a almost like a I don't know, like a baseball dad trying to figure some things out. He almost like reprimands her like a child. Hold on, there's more.
I don't appreciate being called a bitch boy. Yeah, you better go in.
Don't tell me what the fuck you do. Get out!
Get in the house.
The fact that he told her to get in the house. Somebody in the comments said two mullets don't make a right. Hold on.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Forrest, run! Don't you fucking threaten me!
Get in the house.
I love the command to get into the house so much. It makes me feel good inside. It makes me feel so good inside. I'm glad people in the chat room are liking it. Okay, so here's another one. We have a few more. This I thought was funny because it made me think of Mike, how many times that Mike used to call out of work. Mike called out of work so much that he almost lost his job. And what he would tell us back in the day is he would say, call out of work again today. and like said, what? What'd you say? Like, what do you do when you call up your boss and you say, I'm not coming in?
You live next door.
And he lives right next door. He literally had to stay. If Mike called out of work, he was condemning himself to stay in the house the whole day. He couldn't even leave. But that was part of the joke. I said, so we said, what did you say to your boss? And Mike said he'd imitate himself on the phone. He'd go, yeah, Paulie, I can't. I've been up. He said, I'm not coming in tonight, man. I'm throwing my guts up. I've been throwing my guts up all night. Things like this is every other week. They probably think he had some kind of a gastrointestinal something. And then we say, well, Mike, what did you do? He goes, oh, nothing. I was just sleeping until 3 p.m. And that was a long time ago. He turned himself around big time. He turned it all around. That was like 15 years ago. He hasn't been like that in 15 years. But anyway, here is a POV. Me getting in character before I call off of work sick. And of course, the clip that they use is from the Jamie Foxx detoxing as Ray Charles. So I just thought that this works so well. Getting in character before I can call off from work sick. This is what I was thinking about Mike the whole time. And the best thing is the top comment was from Chris Conga, and he says, nah, you got to already be fake coughing and sniffling at work the day before. Yeah, you have to lay the groundwork. He said, I've done it before too, where I'm just like, I may want to call out tomorrow. I'm just going to lay the groundwork and give myself a little bit of some leeway, like when I worked at Modell's and stuff. All right, here you go. Here's another one. This is a skit that somebody put together. It is supposed to...
Oh, this guy.
It's the evil doctor. The evil doctor who created the word lisp, knowing that people with lisps can't say lisp. And I think this is a really great sketch.
Say what you have. Say it. Alice. You're so bad at your S's. That's why I did it. That's why I did it.
One more time.
Stop. Yeah. Say what you have. Say it. Alice. You're so bad at your S's. That's why I did it.
You're so I love that groan. You're so bad at your S's. All right, we have two more. This one. This one is a puzzling one to me. It's a puzzling one. And I'm sure it took everybody by surprise who saw it. So here's a guy who is, I don't know, walking down the street, and he's doing a skit. Just watch this. The death of an AirPod, it's called, where an AirPod goes into the street and somebody runs over it. But you'll see there's something else about this video that's calling everybody's attention to it. Here we go.
Excuse me. What are you listening to? Oh, oh no.
Okay. He goes up to somebody who wants to know what they're listening to. No, look at the guy. This guy looks like a walking corpse. I don't know what it is. He looks like a dead zombie.
Yeah, what the hell's on?
Watch this, and I'm going to read you some of the comments. So he says, "What are you listening to?" He drops his earbud. It bounces into the street, and then that person rolls over it. And I think the "oh no" at the end is really funny too. But the comments about this guy, that everybody noticed the same thing. I went right to the comments and said, "What the hell is that?" Watch.
Excuse me. What are you listening to? Oh. Oh no. Excuse me.
Just look at him.
What are you listening to? Oh. Oh no.
So there's
What are the odds of that?
There's some, yeah, I know. But here are some of the comments. Bro's trying to get inside. Bro's trying to get inside before sunrise. He looks like a vampire. Somebody says, brother was listening to the screams of the damned. Literally, what the fuck was that? Put the camera back on that warlock. Hold on. Bro was interviewing a corpse. Bro was trying to interview Nosferatu. Anyway, that's the crazy thing. I wonder, that it's really genius. They seem like they know each other. I hope so. Because that means that it's a genius bit of writing, that we need to make something very strange about you that people notice. Very off-putting. I love these reels. Now, this one, ladies and gentlemen, is the last one of the night. And I promise you, it is a very juvenile one. But when I tell you that when I watched this, I sent it to Fleckus, and I sent with a caption, and I just said, dude, and it's true, I had been wheezing for 15 minutes. I couldn't stop watching this. And it's so juvenile. If you don't like fart humor, and I'm not really somebody that it just got a hit.
Yeah, I don't like fart humor.
I know, but it's hold on. Here we go. It just hits in a different way. This kid. Hold on a second. All right, here we go. So this kid is going for the poop. Say it.
The pooping my pants world record. Look at he's got the fucking hoodie on.
It's the way that this kid goes about his bits about farting. Yeah, it makes the humor so ridiculous that it's funny. And so this is his pooping his pants world record. Okay, and look at the seriousness of this bit. Here we go.
Today I'll be attempting to break the world record for the fastest time to crap my pants in a standing position. Let's get it done.
What's up?
To all the family and friends, this one's for you guys. Let's do this. Going in 3, 2, 1, go. That doesn't count. That's a liquid. You're liquid.
He collapses. He's so proud of himself.
Today I'll be attempting to break the world record.
Oh, when he collapses, like he won the NBA championships with the knee pads on.
That's a liquid.
That's a liquid. He does another couple. Dude, that night, especially when he's there holding the trophy, I sent it to Fleckus, and I said, this is for the next one. But since he's not going to be on until July, I'm doing it tonight. Unbelievable. We're going on a really quick break. Oh, I needed that. So it's been a while. It's been a while since I cried while laughing. Fucking love it. All right, we'll be right back. Actually, no, I don't have any breaks lined up. We're just going into the end right here. We're going right into the end. You know what it is, Matt? We're talking about Badass Month. And this is a really incredible story that we have not spoken about in a long time. If at all. I mean, once it was headlines, but it became a little bit of a cult thing. Actually, a very, very big cult thing. And I wanted to talk about it on this show at the end. And we'll just hold, I guess, calls for afterwards or till Monday. But tonight's badass, I'm just going to throw it out there for you all. It's going to be one of those things that it's going to have to, you're learning a little bit of internet history and everything else, and it's going to take a little while longer. And I know Matt likes the story, so we're going to get on into that. So let's do it. Who's the badass tonight?
That's some badass shit.
It's pretty badass.
Our badass this evening, ladies and gentlemen. You know his name? Some of you may know his name. What I'll say is this. Marvin Haymeyer, you remember we were talking about him last year? He was a badass in last year's June, and that is the man behind the Killdozer. That's the man behind Killdozer, who was pushed to the end of his wits, of his sanity, by zoning disputes with crooked local government. And what he did was he spent a lot of time planning, meticulously planning, adorning a bulldozer with very heavy armor, put cameras all around it, and really, really did this up right so he can go on a bulldozing rampage in his town that took down 13 buildings, including parts of Town Hall. And the anniversary of the Killdozer was this week. Okay? But there is another man who has taken a spot for himself in the pantheon of these cult figures whose extreme actions became more of a subject of philosophical debate than anything else. Okay? And we're talking about 29-year-old Richard Russell, a.k.a. the Sky King. He was a Horizon Air ground service agent with no piloting experience. You might remember this from 2018. You remember this? There you go. Let me put Matt down here again. You got to remember him now. Will I get a job if I land? Mechanic 29, who hijacked plane, jokes with Seattle air traffic control moments before crashing into an island. We have this guy, Russell, performed an unauthorized takeoff with two McDonnell Douglas F-15 Eagles on his tail. But here's the big thing. It was a moment. It was an hour into it. We have about 5 minutes of compiled footage, or I should say 5 minutes of compiled transcript of the communications with the tower and all that stuff. It has become one of the more fascinating flights in history, especially for the internet and the circles who look into this stuff and they really want to find deeper meaning in it all. And he seems like such a guy who obviously got to his wit's end about something, has a screw loose, as he said as well, but he's calm, he's peaceful, he's got no ill will toward anybody, not looking to hurt anyone as well. And he goes into a magical flight where, again, with no experience, he's pulling off. Some people even went as far as saying that this guy actually did things for science that day because he was doing maneuvers in this plane that some thought was not possible, that that the maneuvers themselves would be too much for the plane to bear. And here's just a little bit more on that. From 2018 article on The Sun, let's get to that one. A mechanic stole a plane from Seattle Airport and joked with the air traffic controllers before crashing into an island. The married airport employee, 29, hijacked the Alaska Airlines plane before performing stunts in the sky as he's tailed by fighter jets today. Harrowing audio revealed the pilot joking with the controllers who begged him to land the 76-seater plane before it nosedived and burst into fireball 25 miles away. At one point, he said, "Hey, do you think if I land this successfully, Alaska will give me a job as a pilot?" Astonishing videos showed the Horizon Air Q400 doing large loops and dangerous maneuvers. In the chilling recording, he revealed that he was a broken man and apologized to the air traffic controller. He said, "I hope this doesn't ruin your day." The mechanic, referred to as Rich, said that he wanted to do a barrel roll, and if that one does good, then he's going to go nose down and call it a night. I want you to listen to a little bit of this. It's really something else. This goes on for about 5 minutes, but we'll listen to a couple.
I got a lot of people that care about me, and it's going to disappoint them to hear that I did this. I would like to apologize to each and every one of them. Just a broken guy. Got a few screws loose, I guess. Never really knew it until now. I'm down to 2,100. I started like 30-something. 100 pounds of fuel.
Rich, you said you're at 2,100 pounds of fuel left?
Yeah, I don't know what the burnout is like on takeoff, but yeah, it burned quite a bit faster than I expected.
Okay. There is the runway just off your right side in about a mile. Do you see that? That's McCord Field.
Oh man, those guys will rough me up if I tried landing there. I think I might mess something up there too. I wouldn't want to do that. Hopefully, they probably got anti-aircraft.
No, they don't have any of that stuff. We're just trying to find a place for you to land safely.
Yeah, not quite ready to bring it down just yet, but holy smokes, I gotta stop looking at the fuel because it's going down quick.
Okay, Rich, if you could you start a left-hand turn, and we'll take you down to the southeast, please.
This is probably like jail time for life, huh? I mean, I would hope it is for a guy like me.
And
okay, very good, thank you.
Right now he's just flying around, and he just needs some help controlling his aircraft.
Very good. Nah, I mean, I don't need that much help. I played some video games before. I would like to figure out how to get this cabin altitude. Like, I know where the box is. I would like to get some, make it pressurized or something so I'm not so lightheaded.
Anyway.
Minimum wage. We'll chalk it up to that. Maybe that'll grease the gears a little bit with the higher up. Maybe, yeah. Damn it, Andrew! People's lives are at stake here.
Now, Rich, don't say stuff like that.
Nah, I just told you I don't want to hurt no one. I just want you to whisper sweet nothings into my ear. Hey, you think if I land this successfully, Alaska will give me a job as a pilot?
I think they would give you a job of doing anything if you could pull this off.
Yeah, right. Nah, I'm a white guy.
That's what really sealed the deal. Just knows his place. I don't know. I mean, but here's the thing. He says he goes on to talk for a couple more minutes. Just went to circle around Rainier. He wants to go see the, what's the coordinates of the orca? The mama orca with the baby. He wants to go see the orca. He just circled around Rainier. What's the other one over here there too? So he's going off to see mountains. He's doing barrel rolls. He said, I'm going to land it in a safe kind of manner. I think I'm going to try to do a barrel roll, and if that goes good, I'm just going to nose down and call it a night. And they said, don't, they're trying to step back. And now you say, well, Frank, how is this a badass? It's not an endorsement of suicide, obviously, and it hasn't been for a lot of people on the internet that have really, gone into this and given him the title Sky King. Just like Romeo and Juliet is not an endorsement of suicide, neither is Ethan Frome or anything like that. That's the regrettable portion of the story. There's something else here that makes stories like this fascinating as they are. Killdozer was far more chaotic than what happened with this guy. But as far as sad as a story as Sky King's is, there is something liberating and peaceful about the whole thing. He reached, at some point, a joyous clarity. Was he disillusioned, or was it really just clarity?
He was lightheaded.
Well, I mean, he wasn't lightheaded on the ground when he took off on the plane, but he had no ill will toward anybody. There was no vengeance that was being sought after, no political message he had for the world. Those minutes, that hour or so, he was one of the freest men on the planet. for most people, his story was nothing but a few brief headlines. So I saw someone in the comments of one of the videos on Sky King say something like, he sounded like a guy who just needed a barbecue and someone to talk to. And I agree, which is sad to think about because maybe so. Maybe that's all it was. But you want to here are some of the things that have been said. I take some screenshots from older posts about this, especially, back in the day. This is in August 2018, this post. Do you guys realize what Sky King actually did for our cause? The media is trying to paint us as in a very bad light over the last few years in the eyes in the mainstream. Just days ago, a thread was up about the crazed neo-Nazi with his entire house decorated in swastikas who was gaslighted by CNN. Shouted at the journal rat and chased her away from his property. This is one of those things where he called attention to something that was more real than anything. Like, this is a real story instead of all the made-up bullshit on the television. Someone else in response said, what most people don't understand, Sky King's last hour was not suicide. Well, I mean, the end result definitely was, but it was a celebration of life. It was a metaphor for the life he thought he should have lived. He lived on the same gay earth that we all live, the shittiness that we all live. And in 1 hour, he's saying, have you been to the Olympics? These things are gorgeous. I want to see the orca and the baby. That is beautiful. Can this thing do a backflip? I'm going to do a barrel roll. If that works out, I'm going to put the nose down and call it a night. In 1 hour, he lived the life he wanted to live more than most will ever live. Then he said, F this gay earth, and called it a night. Now that's obviously, like I said, it's not an endorsement of suicide. And it's the most regrettable thing there. This would have been an incredible. He'd still be in jail right now, but if he actually landed it, because that woke something up in him, and he went into jail a joyous man, and he came out and he wrote a book about it, and all of a sudden, that would be the incredible thing there. But to check out, that's not the thing here. But there's so much more analysis done to what this is, because it's such an interesting exchange. Here's some more people. Absolute legend. This man actually contributed to science by doing those awesome tricks that he did. What a king. Richard Sky King Russell is the spirit of every person alive today in the West who has that feeling, which is more or less all of us. The feeling of hopelessness and lack of purpose, where one has no choice but to serve the machine and be extracted for their worth before they are discarded, with the only thing to show for their toils the benefit of others' bank accounts. No personal achievement, no fulfillment, no feeling of even being alive, but he made it. He got out. In a final act of glorious rebellion, he slipped the surly bonds of this earth and we live on, and took for himself the greatest freedom man has ever known. He is without question one of the greatest folk heroes to ever live. And of course, there's a lot of, how these posts are written. And his final act of rebellion, to me, unironically, is one of the most beautiful things that I've ever seen. Blue skies and tailwinds, Sky King. And somebody said, I wonder what it felt like. Here's another one for you, how dramatic it gets. You wonder what it felt like in that sunset to pull back on the stick among the clouds, watching the horizon line slip by as the plane came over, seeing the water rushing toward him, doubtful of whether or not he was going to make it. He only made that roll by a few degrees. It must have been like the most exhilarating moment of his whole life. The altitude would have felt like kissing the water. It must have felt like destiny. The plane practically skimming the water, surrounded by the hills and nearby islands, slingshotting back out for that last bank he made afterwards, on all the speed he built up from coming down. He clearly didn't expect to live. And then he quotes him by saying, I was kind of hoping that'd be it, It must have felt like a rebirth, a total willingness to die, complete commitment to cause, not expecting to avoid the water, and then incomprehensible exhilaration. Then only a few minutes later, he crashes into an empty island, going out on the high note of his existence in the moment of the image that is used as his symbol. He is pulling back hard through the bank. After that roll, I'm certain that he has the biggest smile on his face and that he felt totally free. Nobody can copycat what he did because he did it with total faith, with no expectation of outcome. Rich was just a man trying to live. Others would just be men trying to be rich. See how deep?
Yeah.
See how deep?
Harry thought he just hijacked an airplane.
Well, that was the news story for 36 hours. Some nut hijacked the airplane. And here's one last one for you. Sky King, an amazing man, an aviation enthusiast, wanted to go out but wanted to do so in style where he could live his final wishes and asked for nothing in return in those moments. Hijacked the plane with no one on board, went for a flight, brought his plane to the breaking point without breaking it, showed what an aircraft can do under the same stress that he was going through. But even after that stress, man or machine, it's only one more hurrah. He took his last dream to life and didn't hurt anyone in his process. Mad respect to this man who had something as complicated as flying without hurtful intention as his final wishes. R.I.P. to the king, the Sky King. So, there's a lot there, and I'm sure we can take calls on this some other night, perhaps. I just want to thank Witchy Poo, who just came in and dropped a whole mess of cookies on us, and other than that, I just want to wish everybody a good night. It's 8:49, and we're kicking off down the dusty trail over here. Matt, anything else you want to leave people with?
God is Lord.
God is Lord. You said that, brother. Well, then here's what we have for you, ladies and gents. Here's what we have. Because of Sky King tonight being the badass of the night, I want to read you a little something. I want to read you a little something from the Whiting Bolt, who made this video that we're going to go out on. It's a tribute video that has, I think, well over 1 million views or something like that. It's become very popular over the last few years. And I'm going to leave it with you as we go on out. And here's what Whiting Bolt had wrote about this in the bio of the video. He said, Whiting Bolt, sorry. While this video isn't along the lines of what I usually post, as it isn't an animation, nor it is not directly Doomer related, it is something I've been thinking about a lot lately. Richard Sky King Russell was one of us. He was a normal guy who was pushed to extremes. No one really knows his motives or seems to care to ask why Rich, a seemingly happy man, would take a plane and end his life in it. It's a sad story. It's sad that his story wasn't strong enough for any more information on him or his reasoning to break through to the public, though they aren't necessarily needed. We may not know much about Richard or what finally broke the camel's back, but we do know that for some minutes, Sky King was the freest man on earth as he soared among the setting sky. I find his story incredibly inspirational, much like the likeliness of Marvin Haymeyer and his trusty steed, the Killdozer. Sky King, I hope you found peace to rest your troubles as you kissed the sky and walked amongst the angels. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's the end of the show for tonight and the end of the shows for this week. I'll see you on Monday. It's going to be a good one. Matt, thank you for everything, bro.
Thank you, Francis.
All right, well, stick around. You're going to like this.
I got a lot of people that care about me, and it's going to disappoint them to hear that I did this. I would like to apologize to each and every one of them. Just a broken guy, got a few screws loose, I guess. Never really knew it until now. I'm down to 2,100. I started like 30-something.
Rich, you said you're at 2,100 pounds of fuel left?
Yeah, not quite ready to bring it down just yet, but holy smokes, I gotta stop looking at the fuel because it's going down quick. Damn it, Andrew! People's lives are at stake here.
Now, Rich, don't say stuff like that.
Nah, I told you I don't want to hurt no one. I just want you to whisper sweet nothings in my ear. Nah, everything's peachy clean. Just did a little circle around Rainier. It's beautiful. I think I got some gas to go check out the Olympics. And yeah. Man, have you been to the Olympics? These guys are gorgeous. Holy smokes. Facing tempest and dust, I'll fight until the end.
Yeah, I have been out there. It's always a nice drive.
Creatures of my dreams raise up and dance with me. I think I'm gonna try to do a barrel roll, and if that goes good, now I'm just gonna nose down and call the night. Now and forever. Yeah, I wouldn't know how to land it. I wasn't really planning on landing it.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Quite Frankly is filmed before a live studio audience, and now our super chatter, starting with Jay Britz and Kate Reynolds. Thank you to all of our wonderful friends on Rumble and all around. I'm going to be releasing that scratching, and I'll see you guys on Monday night. Enjoy your weekend. Become a sponsor on the Sponsor Us page on quitefrankly.tv. I'd love to welcome you to the VIP family over the weekend. Thank you to all of our